Hey, it's Sled. We've known each other for a while now, haven't we? I was about 15 when I first started participating in the Brobecks archive project, and I'm 22 now. That's pretty old. And I'm poor, too. All my money's tied up in these very expensive Brobecks CDs, as you can see. You know, my Brobecks CD collection is probably the most expensive thing I own, taking everything into account. Now, with all of that in mind, I'd like to pose a question to you. What is my favorite band? My favorite band is Green Day. Anyways, the whole idea at the beginning of this thing was just to get accurate information of the band more accessible and into the hands of fans. I got into the Brobecks through Dallon Weekes' project. I don't know how, but they found me, like many other people, but it always irked me just a little how the Brobecks were always just reduced to Dallon's old band to a lot of people, and when they would talk about the Brobecks, that's all they would really say. But who could blame them? In 2018, figuring out even the members of the band required a healthy amount of sleuthing. Now, I have an immense amount of respect for Dallon, both artistically and personally. I know my actions haven't always necessarily reflected that, but even with something like the interview with Andy, I feel I conducted it in a way that remained respectful, even if the very act of doing it wasn't. I'm a massive fan. But actually digging into the Brobecks and realizing that half of these tracks were written and sung by another guy that nobody brings up, and they were a dual frontman thing and sometimes even three frontman thing for a while, something most fans really had no idea about because documentation was just that poor back then, and Mike and Dallon's voices do sound a bit similar. It made me wish that I could bring more attention to the band as a whole, all the guys who worked on that music, Dallon himself included, of course. And I am here to proudly announce that we have one Brobecks fanbase. The Brobecks are back. In case you aren't in the know, the band's lineup of Mike Gross, Dallon Weekes, Matt Glass, and Bryan Szymanski, I think I'm saying that right, are working on new music again together, and a remaster of Happiest Nuclear Winter will be out midnight New Year's, I think? I don't remember. Go watch the teaser. It's awesome. Everything I've ever hoped for when doing this thing has come true. It seems that they are interested in making the old music more accessible to fans again, even if they're still being a little bit standoffish about it, but we'll get to that. The old members are actually getting recognition again, and so as all good things have to come to an end, I would like to take this moment while we're all basking in Brobecks bliss and say, I retire. And also that the discography section of the Brobecks wiki is finally complete, as in everything from their discography that I can make available to you is now up for download. Of course, not if it's available for purchase anywhere, and even the stuff I can't share with you, you at least get some information on. Documentation is important to me and all that. Now, the website is nowhere near actually done, and I'll be the first to tell you that the entire thing is hot garbage. And honestly, I should have just stuck to making a spreadsheet and passing that around instead. But it exists now, and that's just how it is. I'm not a website designer. The only reason I did all this stuff with the band's works is because few other people were actually trying. So eventually I kind of got shoehorned into being the guy you go to about anything Brobecks related. I don't hate that, and if you've ever emailed or messaged me a big old paragraph about how much the archive means to you, I assure you, I read it and I appreciate it. I don't respond to things like that because I don't really know how to, but it is really nice to know that I've helped this band hold a special place in people's hearts, just as it did for me. You want to know the thing that really pulled me down the rabbit hole? There's this video by The Editing of PATD on YouTube called The Brobecks Unreleased Tracks. It's a bunch of remixing the Brobecks songs with some other B-sides, all with custom artwork made by the uploader, and in my mind, when I listen to these songs, these images are still the only thing that appears to me. I found it so incredibly fascinating. I knew nothing about the EP these alternate versions of songs were from at the time, or what the hell Globular was supposed to be, but that singular video made this band a permanent spot in my brain, and maybe the reason I did any of this stuff at all. I wanted to know everything about everything. And I know that many people share this introduction to the band, having to put the pieces together from random YouTube uploads. I know a lot of people have special relationships with random obscure tracks the band members probably never imagined anyone would care about ever. It's why I ever did any of this. Now, on to the topic about what I'm going to be doing with the wiki and its downloads now that the guys are active again. To start out with, Happiest Nuclear Winter is a bit of an interesting case. They are not making the original version of the album available to purchase or stream or any of that, just the remaster. I suppose in their words, they figured since Happiest Nuclear Winter was already out there, as in places like YouTube because it wasn't available legitimately for almost 20 years, they thought that there would be little interest in releasing it because of that. So they spruced it up a bit, gave it a modern audio massage instead to share. I'm here to say that Brobecks fans, the members of this band, barring perhaps Dallon, do not quite understand who you are yet. The band hasn't been back together for very long. People would go absolutely insane even if they uploaded the album with no remaster at all. Just to even have it on streaming or to be purchasable in a way that actually supports these guys would be absolutely huge to these people. No, the incredibly half-assed Bandcamp release doesn't count, but that was done all the way back in like 2012, so we're gonna let that one go. Convenience is absolute king to the kids of today. It was on streaming services, people would mainly listen to it there, not the old YouTube uploads. And YouTube is also a music streaming service, like they could put it up there officially too. Consider this my encouragement to test the waters and see how the fan base reacts. You will be surprised. But in any case, here's the situation. The remaster of Happiest Nuclear Winter is being put up on streaming and will be available to purchase physically. I still say set up a proper Brobecks Bandcamp and make it available digitally as well, but whatever. The original will not be. Despite this, I will be removing the downloads of the original from my website and linking off to the remaster. Most people are going to want to be streaming the remaster anyways, and for you few nerds out there who actually care about the original and for some reason haven't downloaded my CD rip that's been available for many years now, honestly, just DM me at some point and I'll send it your way. Going forward, I'm not going to be super duper involved in Brobecks stuff. If they do shows, chances are I won't be there unless it's super convenient for me. I'm a busy guy, and concerts aren't even really my thing anyways. I will be finishing the website. I do not promise it will ever look good, but I will finish it because I put a lot of work into it for many years now, and it's too much to just drop it. Right now, the discography section is done, and I'm getting to work on the rest. If and when the band makes some of their works available through official means, those works will then be removed from download from the website, and I'll link off to where to purchase it. Everybody's happy. You guys have given me a lot of attention over the years, probably too much for someone like me. I want you to take every ounce of attention that you have ever given Sled's Brobeck Archive, or my wonderful GeoCities looking ass website, and you give it right back to the newly reformed band, the Brobecks. I was serious when I said I don't think they quite know just how big and determined the fan base has gotten. If you want shows, you make sure they know you want to see shows, that there's definitely interest in a tour. This archive is always about getting more attention to the band and its history. Now that the band is back, we cannot let the same thing happen again, can we? This is hot off the heels of Dallon straight up saying he doesn't believe in bands anymore. The guys working on new music together really did surprise me. Now, I've heard some concerns about what this will mean for I Don't Know How, and as a guy that knows nothing about their personal situations, I still feel pretty confident telling you have nothing to worry about. Dallon Weekes was kind of born to have a solo act. All the ideas bouncing around that guy's head, one band cannot contain them. And I Don't Know How has an incredibly devoted fan base. That project isn't going to be getting any less attention moving forward. The only thing I can think that it makes kind of awkward is Brobecks' touring logic, but they can work that out, I'm sure. They're smart guys. I expect that Whisperhawk and Matt Glass's own musical and filmographical, is that a word? Their projects will probably also keep on keeping on. The Brobecks was always a collaborative project. I think of them more like a supergroup than a band, to be honest. Anyways, to circle all this back, because I'm tired and I'm losing my voice and I have a lot of things to do this week, things that I would really like to see. A proper Brobecks Bandcamp setup. People still care about owning music, not just streaming it. I know all merch will go through None You Jerk, and I don't know if you can integrate that in the Bandcamp, but at the very least, I would love to see them put up the music they can and know that purchasing it directly will help the band. When something's added to the Bandcamp, I can remove the download from my site, link off to the purchase, happy that it is available again. For one example, let's talk remixing the Brobecks. Both volumes we don't have in pretty high quality. The band almost certainly has it in much better. They could make it available in a way that we've never heard before and through official means. That is my personal ideal scenario. I also want to see more stuff on streaming. I'm not a big streamer, I listen to everything off CDs or my MP3 player, but I know a lot of people do. I know the situation with a lot of the albums having different personnel makes that hard because you gotta track people down and get all business with them, and I'm telling you that it is still worth it to do. Yes, even Goodnight and Have a Pleasant Tomorrow, which Dallon said he doesn't like and would involve talking to Dave Chisholm, would be worth it in my opinion for the band. That album has a very dedicated fandom behind it that I'm not part of, I quite dislike it, but seriously, no remaster needed. If you make that available officially, people will listen. Sleeping Pills alone carries the entire album. So on and so forth with the rest of the discography. I'm not going to tell you guys that they need to make everything available in the best quality or bust, give me Globular Lossless or I Walk. The band's barely back on its feet, and the guys are working together for the first time in years. I'm saying baby steps, test the waters. I think there are a lot of places for the band to go from here. This whole video is one big ramble. TLDR of everything is that the stuff you want is up for download on the website www.brobecks.com. The Brobecks are back, and anything that is officially available through them will be removed from download, and I'll link off to where it is to purchase instead. And Brobecks fanbase, please be normal, but also make sure those band members know exactly how you feel about the band. I know that's a hard ask. This may very well be the last video I share on this channel. I've already told you all that I want the attention here focused right back on the guys themselves, but if for some reason that you were coming to this channel for me, and you'd like to continue to watch my escapades like some sort of zoo animal, I do have a new YouTube channel I'll link off to in the description. I have a few videos talking about Brobecks adjacent stuff right now, but don't expect that from me in the future. In fact, expect nothing from the channel. My next video might be me beating Dark Souls 2 with a soup ladle. Haven't finished that yet, who knows. I refuse to accept any level of consistency, and my recording setup will always remain in the realm of mediocrity. There was too many words there to say, hey, you can go subscribe to my other channel if you want to keep up with me. Also, I don't go by Sled there. People always ask, so I'll talk about it. Sled is my real name. I got it from a friend very early in the Brobecks archive process. Sledbed was my username, and people just started calling me Sled. And then people in my real life started calling me Sled, and now my boyfriend of 3 years has literally only ever known me as Sled. My previous name isn't really a dead name, but I rearranged things around a bit. S is my first initial, L-E-D-B-E, from my last name. Stick a D on that, you got Sledbed, take the bed away. Sled is relatively inoffensive to introduce yourself as. In any case, the point of all this and why I don't use my name on my other channel is I am a bit of a recluse. Before I did this archive stuff, I wasn't active on social media at all. Those were better times. It's why if you've ever messaged me, I maybe didn't respond. I'm just not good at talking with people. There's a few internet friends I talk to on a regular basis, but aside from that, I would like to fall back a bit. So for the other channel, I'm sort of preemptively adding this layer of anonymity to it. Not because I'm confident it'll ever get big enough that it's a problem. I think that's mostly up to luck, but because if it ever does, I don't want the attention. You guys know me on a bit of a different level, and I do genuinely appreciate the sense of purpose you've given me over the years, especially in my latter teenage years. But if there's ever too many eyes on me, don't be surprised if I retreat to my small private Twitter account with just some friends following it. I'm just really not built to be an internet personality. I'm barely a personality at all. I think I've hit a new record for how long I can talk about nonsense for. So farewell, Brobecks Archive channel. I'll still be semi-active in the fanbase on Twitter, and the website will get finished, but it'll still look like an awful GeoCities. I'm repeating myself. I leave you guys with this. My favorite Brobecks songs are Queen of the Valley, file code number 1459, She's a Robot, and I know we aren't supposed to talk about it, but Dallon's version of Far Too Young to Die is just transcendent. My least favorite Brobecks song is Hey You, but me and it are starting to understand each other as I get older. I did a mashup of it in the Land Down Under once. Goodbye.